Sorry.
proceed, not adjourn, commence our meeting. Thursday, oh no, that's not Thursday. We are Wednesday, January 20th. Tuesday, sorry, I've been on vacation. Tuesday, January 20. It is at 3 p.m. So we will call the meeting to order. And our first item is select chair and vice chair. Which,
So we just call if there's any
is
motions
there any
for a chair.
motions for a chair?
I move, we leave it just the way it is.
Oh,
I would second that.
oh my,
Who's the vice chair?
Greg,
Greg is.
Greg.
Okay.
Greg was original, yeah. Chair, yeah, yep.
I think you're doing fantastic. Jim.
My gosh. Here, I thought,
I'll second.
oh my, you sure about that?
Before I get chosen.
I was gonna say, are you sure about
I was
that?
gonna make a deal and say, I'll be chair of this if you'll be.
That's where I was wondering.
The chamber.
Tracking, sorry, there was some there was some wheeling and dealing beforehand that you missed out on.
Oh, man, but that's okay.
I was hoping it was wheeling and dealing on this.
It wasn't, but I would.
Do you not want to do it?
No, I am more than fine doing it as long as you guys feel that I'm doing what you would like me to do. If you feel like your history and knowledge is more beneficial, then I'm okay with that too.
I don't think it's more beneficial,
No.
but I'm more than happy. I mean, I've been to all the meetings with you anyway, so
Yeah,
that I know. I haven't missed one, have I?
I don't
No, I don't
think
think I have either.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'd be happy with either one of you, to tell you the truth, but as far as history and knowledge, you're here, which means the history and knowledge is here,
Yeah.
whether you
Both of us are
are
here.
Yeah.
chair or not chair. So,
Okay.
so I guess it's really just a question of who's running the meetings.
You're smirking, Greg.
No, I'm good. I think you've done a great job and don't rock the boat. Unless you didn't want to and you like,
No, I have no pressing need of needing to step down. I was just going to say, if someone felt passionate about it, I would be okay. Jackie's smirking over there. Okay,
You have a second?
We have a motion and a second.
Yep. So, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
okay. Vice Chair, do we,
I think we just said it was gonna be both.
okay,
Status quo.
that was the
status quo?
motion was to just,
Okay.
Status quo.
Status quo, okay. Okay. We can do this, we can do this.
And I'll move to approve the minutes from November 21st.
I did not see any. I can second that.
I'll second that.
I had no changes, so.
I didn't either. Jackie, you have any changes
No,
on the nice concise minutes?
yeah, they were great.
Okay. Okay, well, we can move to approve the minutes.
All in favor? You have to do all in favor.
Favor? Aye. Oh, all in favor?
You have to do that, yes.
Sorry, I need a script today, sorry.
Aye.
Apologies. Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
And then
meeting schedule. So we're talking about
these are our.
a monthly standing meeting unless not needed cancellation.
Oh, wow. I got a notification from YouTube that the City of Cannon Beach Tourism and Arts Commission is meeting. Hi,
Oh.
YouTube. Okay.
Oh, I don't get those. Is there a week during the month that you think is better for community input, shall I say?
Or when is well, this building is about to not be available at all, so.
Well, so we're working with the chamber about having meetings there though.
Uh-huh.
For as far as people coming, it's hit and miss. You know, we've got Public Works Committee and Parks Committees in the morning. You guys typically meet in the afternoon. I think that works better for a lot of people and it works better for Drea. But we can try different things and also we can encourage people if they can't attend in person to either go Zoom or write a letter. So you
Okay.
can still get your input even if they're not here in person.
Okay.
So it's really what works best for you guys. Most meetings are earlier in the daytime, so you do have a lot of flexibility as far as which day you want it, if you want to stick with the afternoon.
So on the chamber side, my understanding is the meetings that Bruce is talking about, Bruce over there, hey Bruce, is mostly city council. And so I'm wondering if we are gonna be meeting somewhere else.
No, there's a bunch of meetings on that list. We gave them, I think, like 8 meetings.
I know.
It's 10.
Are we?
Because there's planning, design review, all
No,
those other.
but that's, you guys were included in it.
Oh, okay,
So we said we have about 10 meetings a month,
okay.
and so that was one with you guys.
Oh, okay, all right.
And we also know that we're gonna have to, if we have more meetings, we have to work around what's available
Yeah,
at the chamber. We do have a backup always if we ever needed of the Olivana Hall. The setup's not as good as at the chamber though, so chamber is definitely our first preference. And we also can do remote meetings. If ever we got into a pickle
Oh,
and
that's
there was
true.
no space, we can just all Zoom in.
I'll zoom in.
So we
Okay.
can just all Zoom in from wherever.
So
And
Rusty, all this stuff works at Tolovana as well?
no,
Not great, but it works?
Well, we're gonna have to do the same thing we do at the chamber, so.
so there would need to be work if we did Tolovana. So that's really, the chamber has a setup already there
Mhm.
and we're gonna help approve the setup. But
Yeah, I knew that, but
Tolovana is not pick up and go. So it's one
has
that's,
anybody talked to Martin about using the haystack?
yes.
And they said no?
Oh, no, they said we could, but the cost was not.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we
gotcha.
did that early on because we're like, hey.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right there. And
Okay.
Very
it wasn't in our
Yeah.
research.
Okay.
That's not still Martin, is it?
So the
That
only
is-
issue with.
They
using
kept that?
Afternoons,
Couldn't remember
becomes.
which got divested and which did not.
Chamber found that out the hard way going to an accessibility meeting. Because all my meetings there are either at 8 or at 9. And in the morning in the summer, no problem finding parking.
Yeah.
And then I got there at 12:30 and thought, holy crap, I'm not gonna be able to park anywhere. That's the only problem with doing afternoon.
Oh, afternoon is
Chamber in
cheaper.
the summer.
Yeah. So I mean, we could, if you guys want to stick with afternoons and then switch it up later when we move, you can, whatever works best for you guys. So it's really,
I don't wanna park downtown.
Good
Everybody
chance
else
to
can probably
walk and get your exercise in.
I could, but. Are you gonna walk? You got a way more further to walk than I do. Oh, boy, what do you guys wanna do?
That might be my motivation to buy a bike. I would, to me, it seems like it's simple to just stay with 3 o'clock in the afternoon for now and like the third Tuesday, which is what this is right now. Unless that doesn't work for other people, but I mean, I'm good with the third Tuesday till June.
Is there any issue with doing,
When is this?
if council meetings,
When's March? Is this, when is this shutting down? March? When do you got, when is the wrecking ball coming? Do you know?
For this building, April.
April, okay, gotcha. Well, we, for sure till April,
yeah,
why don't we just do that?
Well, I figured that April, I think all will be here. So you can probably figure till March.
Till March, excuse
Till
me,
March.
yes.
okay, for the
Okay,
next
it's
two.
the wrecking ball.
Yeah, but it might be okay depending on what Tuesday it is and all that. But I wouldn't count on it.
Okay.
okay, go ahead.
I do have one. The only issue I have is Tuesdays, I'm generally not in town. I can Zoom them. That's not a problem. I just will consistently be Zooming more. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are tougher for me.
Do we want to pick a different day? for the week.
Thursday work for people?
No,
No.
Thursdays are not good for me.
Okay.
Mondays are great. Well, almost every Monday is open on my calendar. I don't have anything on Mondays, but the general.
I'm being silent because everything works for me and I live right next door to the chamber. So
You don't,
So-
okay.
so whatever you guys want, I will.
Yeah.
Parking passes, I can have it hand out.
Hey, I might take you up on that for June, July and August anyway. Oh, man.
Okay, so Thursday, okay.
We should carpool.
The third Monday is available also.
Third Monday,
We'll think about that for the summer. What are we talking about? Sorry, Tuesdays? We're still on Tuesdays or?
no, well, or Monday being an option.
Monday, I mean, that works for me too.
Mondays work better for me than Tuesdays, but
Mondays, Jackie works for you?
Yeah, I could probably swing Mondays better than I could Tuesdays.
And we don't know about Drea.
and we don't know,
Okay.
Andrea.
All right.
Or I just remember her saying afternoons were always better.
Yeah.
So we can do this for the next few months and then we
See
can
how
look
it
at it
goes.
again and,
Okay,
you know,
Is there any logic to community participation? Like you get more of it in the evenings or less of it in the daytime or anything like that?
I think it just depends on your topic and who's
Yeah.
interested in it. So Parks and Public Works has consistently stayed daytime meetings. They haven't wanted to go night, but they also get, people can come in, they also write emails and notes. If this is something that you seem, I guess based off of feedback, when things start, you know, when you guys start doing more things and if you hear a lot of feedback and say, you know, this might be better to do at night, we can look at that.
Okay.
I mean, we're open to
Since
what
it's
works
brand
best.
new.
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
okay. So now we'll say Mondays at 3 for now? Is that what we're saying?
Well, not all Mondays. Are we second or third or first or?
Sorry. Sorry, second, you said second Monday.
Monday?
Second Monday, oh, I thought we were looking at the third, sorry,
Oh,
Work for you.
but that works too.
It does work. That's open?
Second Monday, yeah, Mondays are pretty much open.
Oh, okay.
So we can do second
Okay.
Monday.
Okay, so the 10th will be the first one.
Yeah, because the 17th president, yeah, I think that third Mondays, we're gonna end up with holiday.
Oh, yeah, the third Monday of the January and February if we have holidays. So if we do the second, then
Okay, chat meeting.
And that gets us
So we're doing the second Monday?
second Monday.
Right. Having it. Right now, it will be the second Monday.
10th?
Yeah.
And repeat.
Anytime?
at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Okay, only 2 more left. Fourth agenda items were priorities and next steps. Now it seems like the retreat was a long time ago. Thank you, Greg and Julie, for speaking eloquently on that day. I was not at my best. We did have some discussion about future art projects and maybe taking in materials and maintenance into consideration, ongoing of considering our agenda item of number 5. So all of those things were discussed. We presented what we had heard as feedback and discussed amongst ourselves as priority. It seemed like,
Gary's priorities, not anybody else's. But
Yeah.
mine is.
yeah. Anything that either of
I kind of
you?
like to see what the our first public meeting
Yeah,
has just,
I agree.
and how do we get the word out about, is there a newspaper anymore? We have a
There
newspaper.
is, it only runs once a month though. We can do a couple items. There's a couple things we can do. We can put together a flyer and send it out to our notification list and post it on the website and post office, things like that.
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
All agendas get sent out,
Mhm.
and so that will go out on the agenda notice no matter what.
Okay,
So that and word of mouth.
okay.
So if we want to do a flyer, that's
Okay.
something we can look at.
Is it okay for one of us to like post it, once you put it on the city page,
We can
sharing
share.
it.
We can share.
Protect Cannon Beach,
Okay.
Love Cannon Beach, all those.
All of those.
Okay,
Nancy
good.
McCarthy shares
That's true.
everything.
She's,
Yep.
okay, gotcha. All right. I'd kind of like to, for priorities, kind of like to wait to see, but the first meeting, like, I don't know, is there gonna be nobody? Is there gonna be 18 people?
I know.
Online telling us stuff? I have no idea.
Yeah,
Because the next steps would be to take what we already sort of have, plus whatever feedback, and then go to city council, and I guess say, hey, we're thinking this. I can tell you, we had an interesting meeting in the accessibility committee, because now that Eric is, Eric couldn't be at that meeting because he was down in California. So he had, COA come, which was fascinating. He's the guy that just did the boogie board rescue.
oh,
He's in
okay,
charge of all beach safety and the lifeguard program. And so Eric had asked him to attend the accessibility meeting. And boy, he opened my eyes a lot about, we're just talking about the Moby mats in one place. And he was just like, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. And it's like, oh my God, like I just.
Like existing access and stuff like that around town?
I mean, it's a problem, well, there's many technical reasons where it's like, that's where that washout is, and the washout moves around all the time. And he's like, and then they had a little drawing of that area from the aerial point, where the idea was, it goes out 200 feet and then goes toward the rock 400 feet. And he's like, you see where the high water line is? That's the high water line in the summer. And he's like, Moby mats are right in the middle of that. I mean, right there. What's gonna happen? So we told him what we had planned, which was good, but still we're thinking that we might have to adjust what they're gonna look like, and they're not gonna go out as far, and they're gonna need to go at an angle, because right now it goes right down the middle of the washout, which is just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Plus, he had all kinds of concerns about April, the woman who from Manzanita, who has a disabled daughter, who has been sort of our touchstone to who to ask about, will this work? Will this work? And COA finally just was like, you know what? April's not who we're worried about. April is on top of it. She knows what to do. She knows, she's prepared for all these bad things that can happen. It's the elderly couple that drives down from Seattle on a nice day. And first thing they do, they're tired, but they go to the Tolovana Wayside to watch the ocean for a while. And they're like, look at these cool mats. We can actually do the soft sand now. So they tootle on out 400 yards toward the thing, and then suddenly get tired and the beach is coming in. And they're not prepared. They don't know what to do, and they're gonna get in trouble, and we're gonna be called. And he goes, I don't want anybody to think that we don't want to be called, because of course we want to be called, but it's almost like he was sort of calling it an attractive nuisance. And it's like, hadn't thought about that.
Right.
Hadn't thought about that at all. So we're all kind of like adjusting our brains to, and that's just one Moby mat.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, there's Gower, and then maybe on the Whale Park, and it's like, oh, 3 attractive nuisances. So we're sort of adjusting our thinking.
okay.
The Moby mats are gonna happen this summer, so it'll be an interesting, we have the Moby mats and we'll be adjusting our thinking given what he said. So, but I wanted to share that with you because he opened my eyes a lot
Yeah.
about, oh, I hadn't thought about that, hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a great guy. Damn.
Well, sounds like he was busy this last week too. Oh,
Anyway, so maybe accessibility isn't the top priority, I don't know.
okay.
In my head, I don't know. So it's definitely made me think a little bit more about it, so. Anyway,
Do we have, or should we create kind of I don't know what the right word is, a statement to the community,
Yeah.
like, hey, this is kind of how tech is evolving and changing, and your opportunity to come in and pitch ideas and things like that. Something that, like, what would we put on a flyer? We haven't penned
Yeah.
that yet, right?
I think we do need to do that,
yeah, that's a good idea.
because as our definition's changing,
Yeah, so if we put a flyer up in the post office or on social media or whatever, what's it gonna say?
Good point. Probably needs to say something about that it has to follow the state law of what we can spend that money on. Because otherwise, we're gonna get a ton of people say, I want this, I want that, I want
Yeah,
2 guys down some S curves.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think something to that, and I don't mind, I like to write stuff. I'll take a pass and submit it to everybody.
Okay,
But, something that says, on average, we are allocated X amount of dollars that have to be spent this way, and here's historically how it has been, and here's some new ideas, and we're looking for community input and, something,
next meeting is February.
Yeah, and-
Whatever.
and I'll send it out and just
Okay.
and have everyone
Yeah,
have a feedback.
okay.
It's something.
Reminder not to reply.
Not reply all.
Send it to Jennifer. She'll send it to
Yeah.
all of us.
I'll
Okay.
send it to you guys, but then you can reply to me, you can reply directly to Greg, but you cannot reply all.
Okay.
Do not reply all.
Did that one. Okay, no, I would love it if you would.
Yeah.
Initiate that. That would be great. Okay, yeah, and I think that that's kind of we're one spoke. Talking to the city about their ideas is another, and then the community's kind of the third where we can kind of see and then go back.
Somewhere what Gary said in that damn meeting. Now I can't.
I know.
Remember his
I don't-
trails. That's all.
Yes.
It's brainworthy.
Yeah,
Shoot, I wrote it down somewhere. I'll have to go looking. for
I
it.
know.
can watch the meeting.
yes. I didn't bring it either, but the trails component, we talked about signs, we talked about accessibility.
I thought it was interesting what they were talking about doing that little trail off of Spruce to get up that hill.
Oh, yeah.
And like maybe that could connect to our current trail system. And it's like, I was even thinking before I'd even heard about any of that, I was like, I wonder if we could do that. I mean, it's part of what probably should happen for the city, but could we, if we tied it into the current trail system, would we be able to fund that?
Well, you gotta be careful on your trails because you have to have a proof that enough of it is tourist based, not local usage.
Yeah,
And so-
that's why I was like,
Yeah, one of the things that, when we were talking about, restroom expenses.
Yeah.
What Ashley wanted us to do is have a person go out and ask people their zip codes at the restroom, just so we have documented proof that the people who are using it are not locals. So that's, Ashley's very conservative when it comes to.
Watch it.
So that's,
why would locals be using the bathrooms?
it's just to have in case you're ever traveling. So those are the kind of things, we.
Do you wanna do that?
Set up a webcam.
You want to stand in front of the bathroom, excuse me. Can I take this?
We actually talked to one of the Vikings were gonna help us last year, or also known as the welcome peddlers.
Yes, the welcome.
You can stand there and block the door. No zip, no pee.
No zip code, no peeing.
It's not a hero.
So one of the things that came out of that discussion too, with regards to the trails, is they're gonna be talking about priorities for the TSP. And that trail came up, and it's not in the TSP, but if that's something they decide, you know
The
what?
Spruce one.
The Spruce
Yeah.
one, yeah, if council decides, you know what, they like that idea better than what's in the TSP, we talk about, that's where you guys can say, let's focus on this one, and then we'll go there. So they'll definitely be talking about this. I have the TSP discussion, we had to bump it to March because February's gotten so full, but we'll be going back to council in March to get their priorities of the TSP.
Okay.
So is there, or if there isn't, should we maybe consider creating a trail map that we could have at the information center over there? And I mean, that way we can say that it's for tourism because the tourists are the ones who are coming and getting the map to see where the various trails are in town.
They
I'm-
used to have one.
I'm not so sure they don't. Like,
We have one.
yeah,
There was one.
Okay.
I haven't checked, so the paying for the map would definitely be covered by TLT. Without a doubt on that one, and I can double check with them, because I haven't seen the map in a long time, but I know there was one, because I remember ordering them and.
I'll go down and look because I need to replenish my copies of the map of the city for tourists to where's downtown and what does that look like? So I need to get some of those and I'll ask them about the trail map.
Because I remember giving them a bunch that we had in stock a while ago, but I vaguely remember it, like digging out boxes.
I do have a bunch of
but-
lists down there of,
Yeah.
dog friendly things and, this and that, so.
so under the things to do, there's the Cannon Beach Walks, and it has the gallery walking tour, public art walking tour, public bird watching walking tour, best beach walks, and best of Cannon Beach on foot. And I haven't gone to each one, but they are, and I remember when that was first created.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go into,
That's on the website, but you think there's paper?
I would have-
Chamber?
I would imagine, there used to be. I mean, I know there was a handout specifically for the art
Yes.
walk that you could just kind of take it with you and go. I don't know if it's still paper or all electronic now, but
And that website was how I got actually on board with the public art too, is because it's on the chamber's website, it's funding, it's what's the word? Showing it to tourists, you
As a
know,
tourist thing,
yeah,
yes.
as a tourist attraction.
oh yeah, they have download with maps and step by step to.
The art map needs to be updated too, because I know there's at least two pieces that aren't on there.
Mm.
Two pieces of public art that aren't on the map.
Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing the public art map here. I know we have the trails map here, but.
Well, I know there is a public art map because I got together with Lila Wickham and the two of us got the map and.
Oh, no, I know it's,
But
I know it's there, but I
that's why I know there's two pieces that aren't.
yeah, but I don't know where a digital copy that would be edited is.
Ah.
That's what I was like, I
Mm.
don't remember ever coming across the public art map.
Yeah, they have the brochure here, which has 7 points and then all a map of where they are and stuff. It's a PDF that's downloadable from the site.
And that's the one you were looking at as far as you know? Well, you don't know.
So,
Okay, gotcha.
When you said Spruce Trail connecting through,
So
talking about on the north?
comment was at the meeting that, right now, if somebody's walking up Spruce from, going down to the post office and then walking
Okay.
back up into
Yeah.
town, you have to walk on the street. And
Yes,
there's no sidewalk. And so they were talking about, well, what about if we did a trail instead of just doing a sidewalk up that
Yeah.
hill and through that neighborhood? What if we connected it to the and I don't even know how you do that. I don't have
Gotcha.
in my mind, I don't have an aerial view of where the trail actually goes and
okay,
the trail that's there
Yeah.
versus Spruce. But it's like, wow, if you could connect those two, that'd be a really nice walk coming back from the post office.
Yes.
Coming back to Midtown rather than
yeah,
climbing up that hill and hoping no one hits you.
exactly.
Especially when people are parking there illegally and you're really walking in the
Yeah.
street. So that's what they were talking about with regard to Spruce, because they were like, it'd be nicer to do a trail through the woods rather than
Mhm.
just do an ugly sidewalk.
Mm-hmm,
So.
okay.
as opposed to a not ugly.
Is there such a thing? All right, I'll go down and check for maps of various things.
Put public art
Okay.
on the sidewalk and it's not.
There you go.
So there are walk, I've just noticed this, there's 2 pieces that they say are not listed on here, but they tell you where they are and it's the Fisherman's Dance and Salmon Journey.
Oh, Salmon Journey is a total wrong.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's that Lilligan Pit piece.
Yeah. That's what it-
Okay. Great. Okay, so Greg will
I'll go get that.
write up a little thing. We'll get,
And I'll look for.
I'll
what
look at the maps.
slash Things are there already.
And then Greg, I'll send you the language from our ordinance update because the ordinance online hasn't been updated yet. They only update the website every quarter. And so they're working on their newest update. So I'll send you a Word document of the actual language that got changed.
Okay.
So that way, if you want to pull any pieces from that.
Perfect.
great. Okay. Any more comments on that? I move on to Fisherman's Dance.
What did you find out?
I just saw that email from Karen said that she found a foundry. Did that?
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
See that?
Oh,
Oh, Bruce might know something. He's coming up to the table.
yeah. Cause she said she found a foundry, I think in Spokane, a small one that likes to do one-off projects and that she found, and it sounded like she could afford it. The ones I got 2 quotes. I've requested a third and I never heard back from them, but the quotes I got were between 100 and 110,000 to do all 3 pieces. So.
Well, I think she tried to get it done in metal. And the cost of metal was similar to what you're talking about in that range. She also found a group that could do it in concrete.
Oh, she did, okay.
Yeah, And the cost for those was 13,500 each for three, a little over 40,000. And I believe I'm trying to remember if it was the metal or the concrete, that we would be able to maintain ownership of the molds. I don't know if they could save the molds.
Okay.
But anyway, those are the dollars that it appears we're looking at.
I wonder if it's worth it to put the artist in touch with the concrete place to make sure it would be.
Well, we could. I mean, I talked to Steve before about it and, in fact, he was at my house on Saturday. But, yeah, he seems pretty indifferent on the whole thing. You know, just, you know, because I wanted him to be aware of what we were talking about because, you know, if he had any, you know, artistic input into it. I mean, it's worth, I think, getting in touch with him because the only thing that concerns me, and if he's not concerned, then I guess we don't worry about it. But, you know, there is some color on that.
Yeah.
I want to match that color, you know, because that's true to what his artistic vision was. So as long as we can be true to that, if we're okay. So,
I can find out about that with the concrete process.
yeah.
That sounds lots better than $110,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sturdy stuff.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, that's great.
cool.
Perfect. Okay, and then good of order.
Question, when we started out some of our discussions, there was a discussion about the city being staff, which has responsibility for a budget, and then the funds that would come in from TLT. Is there a thought on a partnership on trying to restore the Dancing Fisherman?
Isn't that what we were just talking about?
Yes, well, staff is looking at, again, it was like $40,500. Does the TAC committee want to make a donation towards that or set a precedent where there's a partnership on something, whether it's an acquisition or a restoration? Or is it going to be the amount that's in the budget for artwork?
Oh, I thought we were talking about, we were gonna pay for the restoration.
Good enough, thank you.
That's what I always thought we were discussing.
Yeah,
So I don't know, what does the committee think?
No, I wasn't, I know I wasn't thinking that we would pay the whole thing, but I was thinking that there would be some sort of a partnership
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah,
You know, now what that looks like, I don't know, and I don't know how much discussion do we have to have around what that's gonna look like. I mean, because I'm sensing that this is not necessarily gonna be a one-off.
right.
That we're
Mhm.
talking about setting a precedent here.
Because Karen,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't even realize that the Stowe Police sculpture was disintegrating, although as soon as she said it, it's like, well, of course it is, it's wire.
Yeah,
And it's essentially on the ocean front.
yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
of course it's disintegrating, Julie.
Yeah, and there might be, some things can be saved. I don't know how easy it would be to save the wire structure, but to replace, if we were going to do something like that in that location. But those are the kind of conversations that I think are coming.
Yeah.
And I think like there's $50,000 in the budget this year. Usually there's 25,000 for art acquisition. But
Your idea is to use that acquisition number for this year as part of the refurbishing the fisherman dance.
right, and then there would be money left over from that.
Okay,
And more money left over depending on if there was a contribution from
Yeah.
TAC.
yep.
so we can use the art fund. It doesn't have to be new acquisition. It can be refurbishment.
And since I've been here, there's never been a definition of it.
Okay,
But I think that, when we're talking about public art, if there's a piece of
Yeah.
public art to be replaced, we don't have another budget for replacement.
okay.
Right.
So I'm kind
Yeah.
of considering the public art being
Okay,
This is what we have.
And Ashley weighed in on it and said yes.
Yeah.
okay,
It's okay.
yeah.
Is there, aside from the Joe Police sculpture, is there any other pieces that are looking like they're going to need to be helped? Seems like most of the other ones are metal or bronze. The chicken one, I think, is bronze. Down on, what is that, First?
First and
Yeah,
Hemlock.
that's.
It also looks like it's painted with acrylic, I think.
Yeah.
I don't, it seemed like it is. Something,
Got colors, for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah. So it gives it more protection.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that, you know, this is opening up a bigger question all the way around. And the implication that's running through my mind is that, you know, we've got this TAC money. And historically, it has been used pretty exclusively to fund projects that people come in. You know, but now we're talking about, well, do we use it to buy art? Do we use it to, you know, restore art? Do we maybe use it for trails? Do we maybe use it for the Moby pads? I mean, you know, there's all these other options that are in here, which is making me think that we should probably just have a separate meeting, sort of a budget meeting, and
Yeah.
sit down and say, how are we going to do it? Because one thing, I mean, if we're sitting here saying, okay, we'll help with the restoration, but, you know, how do we arrive at, you know, do we help with 10%, the 20%? Do we sit down and say, well, we have in our budget $10,000 or some percentage of our budget that goes towards art? You know, I mean, those are the things that we haven't really decided yet. And I think it's probably worth having almost a separate meeting just to discuss, you know, how we want to allocate this money that's available to us
Would be nice to have.
within the new
How
parameters.
much money? There's money that we didn't spend this year on the events, and then there's the money that are currently in reserves.
Yeah.
And I know vaguely what those numbers are, but I don't know what they are.
Currently. Well, and I think that opens a bigger picture too, because items that we talked about were, you know, the welcome bike aids or things like that. Then HRAP got discussed on their, you know, could that be funded with some, you know, TLT too? So then, you know, the pot's how big, what percentage portion, you know, do we think, okay, 5% gets aside, you know, earmarked, we think for art or whatever, but I mean, it adds up real quickly.
Mhm.
And I'm also still do not understand, because I left that meeting going, Haystack Rock awareness, but it's on the public beach, which is then for the state. Why is the state not? You know, my mind starts
It's worse than that. The
doing all that.
rock is in federal waters.
Yeah.
Fabulous. But yeah,
And we have no business being there. I mean, because we have no tie to it. It's not our beach, it's not our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the tide pools.
oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, so that's the path my brain went down then, is which buckets
But the
should it be coming out of?
There, they're not.
No.
Away from that, stop educating people.
No,
Let them go ahead and kill birds and stuff.
it's not, it was just funny when I asked one time though about the jurisdiction and it was like, well, we don't have one.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, but all those ideas then start flowing, you know, the legalities, the different things. I think it's really,
How much do you think, we get, the TAC committee or the TAC TLT, whatever this penny is called? How much a year? Is it 500,000?
437.
Yes.
37?
Ballpark.
Ballpark.
It's half.
I think
Tourist and Arts Fund portion, right? The remainder goes into another fund that's under tourism and arts. That's just projects that you can, so that we have spending authority to use it. So you have two different line items. You've got your TAF funds, which is your grants, and you have a tourism purpose fund.
They all come from that 170%.
Yes, they
Okay,
all do.
gotcha. And so what is that number, the altogether number?
Well, I think right now you're sitting at an ending fund balance of about $800,000.
that's post bathroom, right?
Yes, because that money has already gone out. I was just looking at
Yeah, that-
Tim's first quarter report that he did. He did a first quarter report last Tuesday,
Okay,
the 14th.
Yeah, I think, were we in that meeting? Wasn't that the same meeting we were in?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
But that 1%, I mean, it varies obviously, but the last few years have been about mid fours, 430, 440, somewhere right in there.
For the events and for all of it.
Well, they usually put in about 400 in the events.
Okay,
And then anything above that they anticipate getting, they stick under tourism purpose, so you have you have the ability to spend it.
That's kind of the reserve that's,
Expenditure, you can't spend it.
yeah, yeah,
So they put it as an expenditure, so in case you need it.
okay, and that's how much we have, does that include our reserve?
Well, yeah, that you really don't have.
Oh,
money?
Yes.
You want money?
That's just your ending fund balance.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, because if you stick it somewhere else, like if you stick it outside of your ending fund balance, you can't use it.
Gotcha.
So they just kind of shove it all in.
I get
there. So his report says right here, ending fund balance 6/30/25 was $812. So this would have been, I think, everything in that fund. I'll have to double check with him. I can email you guys too. And
But yeah,
tell
the
you,
bathroom money already went out.
the bathroom
Yeah.
is out.
And that-
Say that ended in June 30th?
But he says June 30th, 2025. Maybe that's his anticipation?
Yeah.
Or is that fiscal 25, fiscal year?
Fiscal year.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first quarter of that fiscal year.
We have a whole nother summer that we, on top of that.
Yes.
Right, okay, gotcha.
And Bruce,
Yep.
we're 424 or
I thought we
Do you
gave
remember?
40 for that, was it not?
440
Ish.
ish.
40-ish?
No, I think the 440-ish is probably right. I don't remember because there might have been some change orders.
Okay.
440,000 is what we gave? And we still have those reserves?
Yes.
Yeah, we were like 1.2 before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were over 1 million at one point. So, and I think when we have these community discussions too, I think they're gonna take it a next step further and be like, okay, if we're paying for the arts or paying for the bathrooms, were those projects that were not going to get done? Or if so, what does that, if they're city oriented ones, what benefit are now, is that money gonna be spent? You know what I mean? Like, okay, if
Oh, I think I know what you're saying.
I'm trying to figure it out.
So in other words, if
We freed up, did we actually free up money that can be spent on other things? And if so, what?
non-tourist things, if you're, well, no, not our money.
But like,
For instance, Karen said, I would love to take, care of the Les Shirley bathrooms. They look like crap. But
yes,
she doesn't have the money to do
she
that.
doesn't have them.
If we give her money for those bathrooms, then what, oh, well, she's not gonna free up anything. She doesn't have the money to do it.
Or are these things that are getting done that wouldn't get done? Or if so, does it free up some things that then, what are you guys able to do?
Goals or.
Yes,
And,
I think those are
Just
gonna be
agrees.
questions that might come from the community, like, and also the things of, oh, well, we want this, that, or the other, and no, those don't meet the guidelines
Right.
and the regulations.
Which means that I think we still have to go back to kind of having a meeting. where
Yes.
We're setting some guidelines and some structure.
Yes,
You know, I mean, I'm starting to almost think that, if Parks wants us to help pay for this, fixing the sculpture, that maybe they need to come to us with a proposal and say, here's how much we want you to do. Maybe that's the way we go about doing it. I don't know. So, but I mean, there has to be some mechanism because I mean, I'm sitting here hearing that, we could get inundated with ideas.
Mhm.
And how are we going to decide? I mean, are we just tossing coins in the air or what are we doing? So, yeah, we need to have some process.
Well, I think council is hoping that, and you probably are hoping that, get ideas and then let's, not tossing a coin, but like using our brains and going, well, this is probably the most important thing.
yeah,
Versus, whatever, I don't know. So I don't know.
I've kind of always envisioned it be very similar to the process we have now. So we have a timeline and a time of year that things are granted, and we might make 2 of those or whatever. But then we stack rank all the requests and And because they're still gonna be, the Coaster Theater is still gonna come in and ask for
Right.
money, and the Canopy Charge Association is still gonna ask for, you know, those are still gonna exist. So we're gonna have to like have this amount of money and budget them and do all that. So I just kind of assumed it would work the way we always have.
Kind of done it.
Similar.
Have an application.
Yeah,
Can I make a suggestion, try to move the fishermen forward?
yes.
What if the city pays 2/3 and you folks fund 1/3? Then we can get the materials picked up and starting to be restored.
You want us to make a motion of that?
Of that. So we're basically looking at 27,000 or 13,500, you're 27.
Yeah.
You pay for two, we pay for one.
However it works out.
And you're able to house concrete forms long-term somewhere?
Somewhere.
That's true.
Yeah, but the wrecking ball is gonna go above our heads.
Yeah, I know. We're trying to,
Funds down there that probably
there's,
could have something until something happens with that. You're right.
So, okay,
So-
and is that depleting and then the rest is coming out of the public art?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying 27 out of the 50 public art. And then we would pony up the 13,500.
correct. That's my motion.
I mean, okay,
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
personally, I think it might be a good precedent baby project to kind of get the ball rolling to see how things,
Yeah.
you know, at least it's a lower scale investment.
Jackie,
One.
Greg, anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what we've been talking about,
Yeah.
about doing. I mean, typically I'd like to see it on paper and here's how much and then before voting and stuff, but in concept, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Greg in that it would be nice to have it in some sort of application or form or something. But I'm fine with starting off like this, but I think eventually we're gonna want something a little bit more formal.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. So what I would say is, yeah, I'd be fine saying, let's allocate $13,500 to this with an understanding that this is not a precedent setting. This is
Right.
a one-off, let's get this thing moving.
Yeah.
Are you making that motion, Tom?
Yeah, I'll make that.
That motion.
I don't know if I can put that addendum onto it that just says, you know, that this does not necessarily inform all of our
Right.
future decisions.
So do you want me to read it to you?
Yes.
Yeah, what did I say?
This is kind of going from the beginning of the conversation to the end, so we can make changes. Alice would be moved to use Tourism and Arts Commission funds to pay for 1/3 of the Fisherman's Dance Restoration project, which is approximately 13,500, with the understanding this is not a precedent setting. This is not precedent setting.
With regard to no application or with regard to giving money to restoration of art?
For spending of funds or funding city projects.
You're meaning no application, nothing formal in place to ask for the
Yeah.
money.
Right.
That's the non-precedent
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Okay,
For requesting funds.
Yeah, and I guess I'm trying to decide, you know, are we saying 1/3 or are we saying the fixed 13,500?
I put both in there, and so I said pay for 1/3 of the Fisherman's Dance Restoration, which is approximately 13,500.
I'm good.
Everybody's okay with that?
yeah, I'm okay.
And then I added with an understanding this is not precedent setting for requesting funds.
Perfect.
Okay.
I would only, no, I was gonna say, I would only add that some comment about the chamber adding into the public art walk.
Oh.
In the motion?
Well, I don't know if it has to be in the motion, but
Oh, you mean the,
Is it?
to me, that,
Public-
Not in there. Oh, that's
No,
right.
this isn't.
That's right.
Fisherman's Dance is not in there. It's mentioned, but it doesn't have like number 8 and
and
so if they're going to, if it's going to be a tourism related thing,
It needs to be on the chamber.
it should be on that map because which is an easy fix.
And Ashley will like that because that means it's a tourism thing.
Mhm.
I'll second that.
Okay, All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wake
It's
me
not a
up.
motion, Bruce.
So quick overview too, just looking at the budget for 24-25. So what we budgeted was for your grant awards, 523,000. What we budgeted for tourism purpose was 600,000. These are rounded numbers, was 600,000. That did not include the restrooms. The restrooms was another line item for the 477. So when you consider, we haven't spent really the 607 and we underran the 523 from the TAF grants, so that 800,000 is probably a pretty good number.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So should that be a part, should the budget part, should that be a part of our next agenda for our next meeting, not just public comment, but talking about let's get a real handle on the numbers.
Yeah.
And figure out. Because I would like, I mean, it's nice to have round numbers like 800,000.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to know the real numbers.
Yeah.
I think we can start with public comment and then
Yeah, I think.
save this, you know.
I think that the agenda item is, what is the process for requesting?
Well, yes, and that's
Yeah.
the second part is
Yeah.
that we haven't had we have a process for the old thing. But we certainly, that our current application won't work for things like the art.
Here's my question about this, though. We just agreed to it and it's a city thing, but does it have to go to the council? Then does it go to the council to be voted on? Or does this go straight
So
through?
this one, I think the way the ordinance is set up, is that you make recommendations to council.
Yes.
Mhm.
So now,
We have a meeting coming up, we can take it.
okay,
So that would all be, this would be.
thinking through the process.
Yeah, that's a good,
So instead of doing these big broad ones like we've done with, it's like, here's our whole spreadsheet, here's all the events, blah, blah, blah. We can still go to council with just one thing like this and say, hey, we're
Yes.
recommending, here's what we're doing, a third, this is the money, blah, blah, blah. Do you agree?
yeah, okay, so we'll add that to February 4th. Good thinking, thank you.
Because there's not enough being discussed on February.
Actually, February 4th is my lightest one in
Oh,
February,
okay.
so this is a good one. This is a good time to be there.
Am I line item 74? I'm last.
Yeah, no kidding.
Um,
Let me get that on the
Public note for the next meeting though, if you guys want to discuss budget and process, maybe we should not ask for public input until we have our process down? Or do you want to still ask?
No, let's get the public input
Yeah,
because
I know there's ideas out there.
But then can we do that?
You can ask for input, yeah.
No, ask for the input and then say,
Yeah.
There's an
we're gonna close and then have our budget talk
we're
or?
just gonna get the input. We're not we're not
We're not
going to decide, are we gonna fund it or not?
But I mean, if we're gonna talk budget,
We're just collecting ideas.
Ideas.
okay,
So we can get ideas from community, see what they want, and then we can talk about the process of how you want to do it
Okay.
and
okay,
where you want to allocate funds, or if you want to, we can have all those discussions.
okay,
And then the people who gave you ideas, you have a process in place, we're gonna go back to them and say,
Yeah.
here's our process, we'd like you to officially
Okay.
apply, you had some great ideas.
And what time is that meeting? Is that 5 or 6? The February 4th.
6.
Thank you. Getting on the count.
And I'm putting it on the council calendar right now.
So the other thing agenda item that I'd like to get on there, is a discussion about policy to propose to city council for the purchase of public art. And I've drafted a proposal, which I get to you, Jennifer, so you can put it in the packet.
Perfect.
Kind of been sitting on it until we kind of got our marching orders.
Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh, sorry, Bruce.
Somebody's back up front again.
Thank you. In listening to you talk about how you might want to set up your process,
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest that this year you make it a little bit soft because we're getting into budget and a bunch of numbers, that were like, it might be public art will be coming up, trails, all these kind of things. And you have got the ability to just say to the council, we recommend this. It doesn't have to be real formal or whatever, or it can be as formal as you want it to be. I think if you're looking to go ahead and make sure you've got all the rules in place, and then in a month and a half, we're talking about trails and other things, it might be a little bit, it might be a little bit premature to try to go ahead and tie your hands until you know what the situation is.
I agree, because this is all new.
Yeah,
And so it does seem like, let's dip a toe and we'll have a little application and we can go to the, and see how it goes.
yeah. It might seem like you have no funding once you hear what everybody wants to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, and we've got some things coming up. We've got some, buildings if we want to do public art in them and that maybe coming budget year would be the year that it would make some sense or not.
I agree.
Okay, all right, good, thank you.
Sense.
Well, and now you guys have me thinking about the Joe Police piece because,
That one's near and dear to my,
yeah. I mean,
maybe that should be moved into whatever turns out to be the lobby of whatever ends up down there. Inside. The Joe Police sculpture.
I'm just trying to remember how tall it was. It was pretty tall.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just,
and I know that there's,
Cannon Beach.
yeah.
it's having a rust problem.
I know.
Yeah,
Is that the only one of his that we have?
I think so. Cannon Beach? I mean, there's other Joe Police sculptures.
Yeah,
not in
but
Cannon Beach.
Not in Can,
We have artwork of his here in City Hall.
Oh, we do.
We
Oh,
do, right outside
okay.
the chamber door.
but,
There's some artwork.
okay, artwork,
not sculpture.
not sculpture.
No, but it's artwork.
Seeing those sculpture pieces of his are, I
The
mean,
necklace.
when I think of the early art, he's one of the ones from my childhood I don't waver on, but, okay.
All right.
Well, now we wiped our hands of one and maybe.
To make sure I have everything for the next meeting, we've got public comment, discuss the budget and process for requesting funds and the policy to council about purchasing public art.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Good, yeah.
Okay. Great. Jim, did you have any comment or?
Oh, no.
Nope, just here to watch our,
Here's open and see what the buzz is.
okay, okay, thank you. Any other comments or additional items? Gonna get out of here under an hour.
That's good.
Okay, okay. All this meeting